and welcome to this episode of Cannesversations. I'm your host, Stephanie Beach, and today I have Nadja from MC Saatchi. Welcome.
How are you?
I am
Good morning to you
good.
this beautiful Miami day.
Oh my goodness, isn't it beautiful here in Miami?
How do you not love this?
I am loving it. I am loving it. Possible has been such a whirlwind so far, but so amazing.
Yeah.
And so many great connections.
Yeah.
I feel like the energy has just been on fire.
I think that our industry is fighting back a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? And you certainly, I was at the AAF Awards on Thursday in New York City, where they were honoring many people, and my friend AC Eggleston-Bracey. And you heard a lot of the conversation about the shift back to creativity, back to remembering about the role of brands. And yes, AI is important, as it always is. But we cannot forget the human part of it. And,
Right.
and certainly that is something that's a theme here at Possible.
Yeah.
And you're hearing that more and more again. Like, what happened to being human? When did that become a bad
And
word?
like we're made for human connection.
We're made for
Yeah.
it. We need that in our lives. And I think people are craving the most appropriate touch possible. But can we get back to that a little bit?
Yeah, I agree. But I am very fortunate to be here. I'm very fortunate to be here with you.
Yes.
And I'm ready to dive into it.
Let's get into it.
So, what percentage of traffic do you think is not human?
That's a tough question. Probably much higher than we thought. I think probably 40 to 50% is probably not human, and that makes me really sad.
It does make me
because we're
sad.
reduced to a series of algorithms that are further optimized. And what happens to human discernment if everything's done by machine learning?
Oh, yeah.
No offense to you machine learning people. I am all for the efficiency, but I gotta kind of bring back the human revolution a little bit.
Yeah. So, is high CTR still a win if you can't verify who or what clicked?
It's hard.
It's hard.
It just becomes like everything else.
And people are so
Empty.
skeptical of CTR to begin with.
Absolutely. It becomes empty eyeballs.
Yeah.
No one wants empty eyeballs. You want to be able to verify who's actually coming to your site and why.
Yep.
To also follow along with a level of engagement. So that is absolutely necessary.
I agree so much. And I think that so many people are, like I said, already skeptical of CTR. And now it's just really going to bring it almost to like a metric that you can't trust no matter what, if there's not going to be a better way to identify human clicks versus bot clicks.
Well, I got to tell you, speaking of trust, I think there's a trend that's unfolding, and I'll be giving a speech about this in a couple of weeks, is that trust is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
And that as we become over-reliant on machines, as people do less of this one-on-one, the trust quotient continues to erode. Once that impacts brands, community, and culture, then what do you have left?
Right.
So we got to fight back. We got to bring it back.
Yeah, I agree. And I do this. I host a podcast.
Yeah.
I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I love
Yeah.
hearing people's stories. And so I can't imagine like not having that at all in a way.
But there are generations where they've never done it.
I know.
You've done everything through a computer, over a phone, impersonal.
It's so
And I'm
wild.
sorry. I believe that we are at our best selves living in the perfectly imperfect world.
Yeah.
Where the imperfections help shape you. So can we get back to a little bit of that?
And that's also, I was talking a little bit earlier, and at the studio this morning, we're
Yeah.
having like a creator morning, and that's why influencers and micro influencers are doing so well, because it's authentic and trusted.
That's right. That's right. And let's not over curate things too much and live a little bit of judgment and things to chance. I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of a shift in our industry.
I hope so too. So how are you helping your clients scale their spend without scaling fraud?
I think it all starts with the insights, and everything we do has to be, double verified and ensure that what you are doing is actually landing at the right communities, at the right people, at the right time. And otherwise, it's just going to be an inefficient use of monies.
Right.
And that's not something that we're in the business of doing, certainly at M&C Saatchi.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't think anybody really wants to waste money, especially when that could go into something else that's more fruitful and building a better relationship with your
Well,
client.
if you're wasting spend, right, then you are less likely to want to test your way into new channels, new ways
Yeah.
of engaging. But all that becomes shut down because, again, we talked about trust. There is a lack of trust in the channels that we're using. There's a lack of trust in perceptions as to what creators can do.
Yeah.
There's a lack of trust in marketing channels overall. Once that trust is eroded, then that kind of begins to really dilute the effectiveness of your marketing strategy overall.
It does, because then who are you speaking to if they don't trust you?
Exactly. Trust.
Then it's more
Can that
wasted
be our
eyeballs.
theme? Trust.
Yeah.
We're going to bring it back.
We're bringing it back. What's something brands think they understand about performance but don't?
That you can over-engineer everything.
Okay.
I think you've seen brands who shall be nameless who have over optimized to the point where they have lost all effectiveness and engagement with consumers.
Yeah.
I mean, there are brands who
Sad.
completely pulled everything out of their marketing channel, over relying on performance. Performance is good, but it's part of a marketing mix. And brands that tend to over engineer and just go purely lower funnel, yeah, I'm sure your numbers are great, but to a certain point, it begins to have a negative impact on your brand.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to have a balance. It's not an either or, it's within the mix.
I like that. And it's so true. But it's a delicate balance.
Correct.
Delicate balance.
Correct.
Where do you see the biggest gap between reported performance and reality?
In perceptions of what creators and insights really bring to bear. You know, I think brands want to make assumptions about what they think these creators and communities represent. And I think yesterday during the panel, we were talking about it's in the middle. You know, how are you affecting behavior change? How are you really getting to micro communities and substacks? And had that one-to-one personal relationship. But so much of that has been diluted in an effort to be overly efficient that you're beginning some of the most important and obvious insights that may be out there. So, you know, I think brands can't be so efficient that you forget to actually listen to what consumers are saying in the quest for ultimate efficiency.
Yeah, I love that. That's so powerful.
Look, I hope I can remember that again. I'm sure you will.
It's recorded.
So we're going to remember I said that.
And I could have AI get the timestamp and quote for you.
And then someone else will quote it. And we're like, well, didn't we say that here first?
No, I'll send you the quote. And I will
You're
note
like,
it.
Nope, we said it first at Cannesversations.
In Cannesversations, yes, we did. So, okay, I love that. Where do you see the clients optimizing towards the wrong things?
Oh my gosh. You know, honestly, I see clients trying to, this is where artificial intelligence come in. They want to overprogram everything and they want to get the answer.
Yeah.
There has to be an answer for absolutely everything. We must have a perfect answer for everything. We have to have the answer for everything. Let me tell you something. That is, bullshit. There's no way that we know answers to everything. That what we can do is help you figure out the best way to engage. We can test our way to new channels, new ways of engaging consumers. But if you try to overprogram and assume that everything you do is going to be perfect, head on the nose, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You know, a brand I think that's doing it well is Levi's. I mean, Levi's was not always doing it well. But I got to give a shout out to my boy because he, you know, Kenny's figured it out, you know, and, you know, the way that they're leaning into culture, the way that they've actually really recaptured the essence of what the brand is. It's kind of like reignited the entire industry. So shout out, Kenny, to you for doing a great job.
Yes. Shout out to you, Kenny.
Shout out to you, Kenny.
And that is great. And I think that it is so important. And sometimes you don't get it right the first time, and that's okay. You know, but you still need to try and you still need to keep doing it. Otherwise, again, wasted eyeballs.
Look, I agree. You know, another brand that's doing it, and this is selfish, this is one of ours, is U.S. Soccer. Right? And the U.S. Soccer Federation's in the middle of what I call a moment.
Yeah.
A moment to really galvanize an entire country around the World Cup. A moment beyond just women's soccer, but men's and children. And it really is a way to bring the country together again. So shout out to Catherine Newman and what she's doing at U.S. Soccer, because that is not an easy feat.
Yeah, not an easy feat at all. And, you know, sometimes too, it's okay to look at another brand and be like, oh, they are doing it well. Can I adapt this or change this or, you know, utilize this concept and make it work for me?
That's right.
And that's not a bad thing.
And tapping into culture, really tapping into culture means listening to the varied points of views, right? And I think, you know, what Catherine's doing it well, Levi's is doing it well. I mean, and those are two great examples, very different types of brands, but one that are leading with culture and leading with it effectively.
That's so beautiful and so important.
Yeah.
Ready for some rapid fire?
Sure.
Underrated or overrated? AI in marketing?
Overrated.
Okay. Safe bet or risky bet? AI agents making purchases?
Risky bet.
Risky bet. One thing that matters more than people think?
Human relevance.
Yeah.
People underestimate the power of the human to human interaction, and people are afraid to look each other in the face and have tough conversations. And personally, I think part of the problem today is people don't do that. The over-reliant of technology, is destroying society as we know it. And you see it because so much of people's conflicts can be solved if they actually would pick up the phone and talk to each other. But they don't do that anymore. So what happens when people aren't talking?
Yeah. And it's so true. You lose context, you lose the connection, you lose the tone, you lose body language.
And then it becomes awkward.
Yeah.
And then you make assumptions. And you're like, that's not what I was feeling. But because you're afraid to have a conversation, because you're afraid to pick up
You
the
made it
phone,
so much worse.
you become so much more insular in your little corners. And then what do you have? Fragmented communities that are side by side, but not really working together and even integrated in any effective way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no marketing book can get you out of that one. It's good old fashioned. Get out and start talking to each other again.
Get out and start talking to people.
You heard it here
You heard it here first.
That's what you got to do.
I love this. It was so
I
fun.
love this. I can't wait for us to do this again.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Human, for making this happen.
Thank you,
Until
Human.
next time, guys.
Take
Bye.
care.